Hey, man, we are back in the office, back in the studio. It is Thursday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. I forgot all about that. Talking about Kia leases, Toyota and the White House, and grads avoiding tech companies.
Yeah,
that's
like the plague.
Yeah, you didn't finish that. Good morning to everybody out there. We had so much fun being on the ground with so many of you at the Digital Dealer Show in Tampa, Florida, and also at the premiere of our More Than Cars TV show. We got to show the pilot episode, and man, I haven't stopped thinking about that and the response to it since it happened.
Just everybody immediately knew what we were up to. It's like, oh, that clears the air. Now we know where we're headed, why Asoto exists. And we actually, it was Monday night. We were sitting at dinner with a few of our team members and your wife, Sarah. And I can't remember who brought it up, but somehow the word rewrite made it into the conversation. And we were like, we are rewriting the cultural script around auto dealers. And if we can rewrite that script, the sky's the limit for the viability of the retail dealer network.
And that's just what happens when, sometimes you circle the runway. Like you and I in our some of our other roles, and like we're brand guys, right? We can like find the narrative and explain it quickly. And just when it's your own thing, it's a lot harder sometimes. And tough. That one word makes it so clear what everything we do can fit under that umbrella, every single thing. And so this is a pilot episode of a TV show series called More Than Cars, where we go to dealers around the country. We do some of their jobs. We drink as much coffee as we can in the local spots. And we're highlighting the inspiring stories from real car dealerships from across the country. Pilot episode's done. We're doing a premiere in about 2 weeks. Or we have a date? We have a date?
Yeah.
Is it May 24th?
Wednesday, the 24th. 1 p.m. Eastern, you back that up. Central's 12, Mountain's 11. The other side of the country is at 10. It's only a 25-minute show, so it's real quick. Get in, get out. You don't have to block a whole ton of your day. It moves. You almost get to the end of the show, and you're like, wait, that was it? And so it's really like, we really want, if you're listening to this, please, when we drop this event today on LinkedIn and the premiere on YouTube, please, please, please share it out. Make sure that people are setting up conference rooms or setting up live stream of like mini events or virtual watch parties, because this is something that everybody in our industry has the opportunity to come close to and share out.
Yep. And for all those people that always wanted to figure out how you can be a part of rewriting the narrative in retail auto, we're going to have an opportunity for you to be part of it as well. So we're just all pumped up. We talked about it since the thing all day yesterday, on the trip home, in the call in the car when you were driving in, I was driving in this morning. We're talking about it now. So we got a lot of that stuff coming, but let's talk about some news, because the industry just keeps rolling regardless of what we're up to. It just does.
Let's talk about it.
Actually, one of my favorite brands too, Kia of America, as they await their 2024 completion of their manufacturing plant in West Point, Georgia, for their new EV9. They are talking about their plans to increase their reliance on EV leasing. So currently their lease book is about 15% of customers. They want to move that all the way up to like 40% to capitalize on the $7,500 federal tax incentive. Now, here's the deal. The federal tax incentive is only good as a tax credit for vehicles that have been manufactured in the U.S. and the battery assembly also happened in the U.S., which is kind of the new thing that really narrowed down the field. And currently their EV6 and their Niro and the EV9 they're going to be releasing this year are all made in South Korea. So that can happen. However, the credit, Kyle, can you believe that a government program has a loophole in it?
Little bit of a
somebody somewhere. Federal credit actually has a provision in it that allows a $7,500 to be used as a air quotes discount. It's not a credit. Off an EV price rather than a tax credit, avoiding that made in America battery qualification. The EV9 is going to cost just under $80,000. That's the max that you can have and still get the credit. And basically, you can apply the $7,500 to a lease. Kyle, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Does that come off the very top? Like, does that come off the lease payment, or does that come off the total cost of the vehicle and then they recalculate the residual? How does that work? Do you know?
Okay, so I'm going to be real clear. I don't know the letter of the law on how a dealership or automaker can apply this at the point of sale right now. And I thought some of those guidelines were coming in 2024. Maybe. Yeah, that's right. In 2024. So on a lease, that will come off of the, it'll come off the cap price, right? So basically it'll reduce the amount owed during the lease timeline. So it won't change your residual, but it would.
All right. That's what I thought. And so
Exactly.
I got my little calculator out. I did some math today. So the average, I just benchmarked it on a Telluride because the Telluride is kind of as close to the EV9 as you can get. So the average Telluride depreciation is 19% over 3 years. Okay. So that means that's what it said.
There's no way the residual value is 81% on the Telluride.
It's been weird lately. I mean, when I turned my Telluride lease in last year, granted the market was weird, I got a $15,000 check.
Golly.
The depreciation over 3 years for my Telluride was zero.
Yeah, that's because they bought it, but
so basically, if it's like,
value, but we'll go with it. I don't know if the we'll have to check with a Kia dealer to know what the current
it feels like it should
are.
be in the 30s. I searched and there's this depreciation calculator. I thought it was low too, but we'll just go with that. So benchmark on that number. If it's an $80,000 EV9, that means it would depreciate $14,800. So if you have a lease, if you didn't know this, basically they take the amount that they think the car is going to depreciate over the term of the lease. They divide that by your lease term, and then there's some interest and tax on that. But basically that makes up your payment. So on that $80,000, right, yeah, the 19% depreciation be $14,800, meaning you'd have a monthly payment of $411, which is really reasonable, especially if it's only depreciating 19%.
Absolutely.
So if that
which 14,000 is probably closer to like just so everyone knows, it's probably closer to about a $5 to $520 payment after you get money factor and you get taxes and you get your dealer fees and all that in there. Just throwing that out there. I'm trying to play even. Trying to play even. Yep.
But the point of that is saying if you had to pay $14,800 for that car while you had it, if you had to do that, then basically, I don't know where I'm hearing that music from.
Where is that coming from?
It's pretty good. We're about to jam to that music. It came from somewhere. So basically, if you have to pay the $14,800 over the term of that lease, and then you apply and subtract $7,500 for this discount, that means your payment would only be $200 a month for an $80,000 EV9, plus taxes and fees. And
that would be pretty nuts.
That seems like, to me, that seems like it's going to upend. Why would anyone buy an EV?
Well, that's why everybody leased the Leaf early. Like when we were doing the Leaf, like you could get $189 payment on a $38,000 Leaf, and everybody was like, "I'm in, let's go."
So I don't know. We linked the article up in the show notes so you can read it. But I mean, that seems like it's really going to, if that'll
speed up adoption. If that's the case, that'll speed up adoption real quickly. Yeah,
and it'll lengthen the lines at the few EV chargers we do have out there.
That's exactly what it will do.
Speaking of EV adoption,
segue.
Solid segue. White House senior advisor John Podesta recently met with Toyota officials and confirmed the automaker is now fully committed to electrification, aiming for 1.5 million EV sales by year 2026. So Podesta told Reuters in a roundtable, he said, "I think they're going to stick with plug-in hybrids for a while, maybe longer than some of the other companies, but they're now fully committed under their new leadership to electrification." Last month, they announced plans to introduce 10 new battery-powered models targeting sales of the 1.5 million by 2026. They currently only have 3 battery-powered models, and they sold fewer than 25,000 worldwide last year. So they're like, we're going from 25,000 last year to 1.5 million in 2026. And if Toyota says something, it usually happens.
I don't doubt it. My bet on this one is like, how Apple was the last to the smartphone game? Everybody was like, you got the BlackBerry and you had a couple others going out. And
there's going to be a watch this moment, isn't there?
It was like, shh, we're coming. Right? I think that we're going to see that with Toyota. It's like, maybe they've just been in the background, just R&D and something that everybody's like, they did what? We'll see.
I also think, they've been the slowest adopters of EV technology, making a very rational case for using the lithium that we have to build many, many more hybrids, showing and scientifically showing a much better environmental impact than using all the lithium just to make full EVs.
Yeah. We've heard that a lot.
And it's possible that over the next year or so, as they lean into that, they're going to have more data that shows the hybrid approach is actually speeding adoption of like people just getting used to that middle step of having some level of battery or electrification in their vehicle and understanding how it charges and how it goes. So I think Toyota's
I'm getting used to it to the tune of 35 miles to the gallon in a van. So
in a
I'm
big
getting
van.
real used to it.
I know. When I look at that, like the Sequoia and the big vehicles, like I'm driving a Land Cruiser right now, and I get like 13. It's disgusting. It's so they got that. It's got that big old like reliable V8 that never breaks, but it also always needs some gas.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of new technology in the vehicles, and speaking of technology,
stop. Segue
time.
I love this one, and shout out to my buddy Ben Hadley for tossing this our way yesterday evening. A new report from college grad and new grad career site Handshake reveals that Gen Z, so like that the generation coming out of colleges and in that like 20s range, college graduates are prioritizing stability in their job searches over big tech companies. Zero major tech firms are featured in the top 10 preferred employers.
None.
That's none. No
I
Google.
feel like
no
I wonder
Amazon.
what this list was like 3 years ago.
I wish we knew. Maybe we can go do a little bit of digging.
It was Facebook, Google, Amazon, TikTok.
Yes.
Right?
So there's this shift in desire amidst these massive tech layoffs. We've seen 12, 22, 7,000 in Shopify and Amazon and Google and Facebook over the last 9 months. Christine Cruz Vergara. We're going to go with that.
We'll go Cruz Vergara. Very good.
Cruz Vergara. Handshake's chief education strategy officer told CNBC that the graduating class is, quote, prioritizing stability, and they're quite turned off by the volatility they've seen in the news around big tech. She continues, they're gravitating toward companies that offer solid benefits, career pathing, and a level of stability they've been looking for. Now, you want the real kicker? You want the real kicker here?
Give it to him.
Here's the top 10. Listen close. Number 1, Raytheon. They're like engineering, from what I understand.
It's like Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, like Lockheed Martin, yes.
Defense contractor.
Nike. Little bit of stability there.
And
wait for it.
Cool factor.
Wait for it. 3.
Oh, here
Toyota.
Let's go.
Toyota, ladies and gentlemen, coming in at number 3 on the top search preferred employers from Gen Z coming out of college. Rounding out the top 10 are Lockheed Martin, Chevron, Capital One, Morgan Stanley, Boeing, Bank of America, and interesting, number 10, NASA.
They're having a good PR year. Good PR year.
Interesting one. Yeah, so people they're looking to obviously go into this stability, go into places that have a long-standing high opportunities. There's still like a lot of tech in those companies, but I wouldn't call them big tech companies. I mean, I know that Toyota has a massive tech facility and massive R&D facility. Actually, Brian Kramer was telling us all about it. He got to go visit it when he was still back with Jermaine. So like there's still a ton of tech in these companies, tons of engineering.
But tech isn't the core product.
It's not the core product. Exactly.
My marketing hat goes on the second I hear this, because I happen to know an industry that has a lot of job openings that offers all the things: stability, career pathing, great benefits, great culture. Like, listen, if you are recruiting people, Gen Zers are thinking this way. So lead with this thing, right? One of the most stable industries in the history of our country.
Yes.
One of the most
and this is the time. May and June is like the prime time spot for grabbing these top college grads. Talk about the tech you use, the opportunities for career path, the opportunities in the job growth. I can't remember who posted the other day. Maybe it was Todd. I think it was Todd Caputo showing like the path of like a college grad that into their management opportunities and the path to getting to 6 figures, and then the path in the auto business getting to a general manager spot and the timeline. It's unbelievable the opportunity we have in these 2 months right now are the time to fire on all 4 cylinders going after these college grads,
or maybe higher on all 4 cylinders.
Higher. I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
You bet. How many dealers and dealer groups do you know that, like with COVID as the exception, could say, we have never, ever, ever laid off a single person.
Like layoffs, like not firing someone, but layoffs, like real layoffs.
Never laid off a single person. I
don't know of any dealers that like
none
have
that
gone
I know
through layoffs. You know,
I know so many successful groups that recruit from college campuses, and they tend to be the brand forward groups are the ones that do a really great job at it. Some other groups, I don't know, the Sioka group, they do an amazing job at recruiting right off the campus grounds because they offer these things, and you throw a culture on top of that, and you throw a fun product that is a part of pop culture right now. And it still says that these students are interested in tech, and they think tech will be a part of their lives, and they're paying attention to generative AI, and they know that they'll need tech skills. And so automotive is also an industry that can still check that box while giving them stability, while giving them a career path.
Yeah, you should have seen the number of companies at Digital Dealer that were like, we're integrating Lambda, we're integrating Chat GPT, we're integrating Bard, right? I mean, it's all over.
Even the concession stand. I'm just kidding.
Right. There you go.
Not that. Well, we hope you had a good few minutes with us today. We hope you go out there and you do your part to rewrite the narrative in retail automotive. We still have another day, 2 days this week. We have a lot of time to do it. Check it out. We'll talk to you soon.